And you owe him an apology, and you owe him an apology, and you owe him an apology, and you all the way back in the back. All of you owe him an apology. Stone lifting the Stanley Cup. Yeah! Let's go! Go, Knights, go! Why? Oh my goodness! Yeah, he's gorgeous. I never thought I'd see that in a hockey game. The one thing I said before the game was that I both understood and did not understand this decision because A, I'm not a coach. B, Marc-Andre Fleury is so far the leading Conn Smythe person for our team if we were to win the Stanley Cup. And he has a 1.98 save percentage in the playoffs, and yeah, I didn't think that he was an issue last game, although his mistake, but like, if we score on one power play, I'm not getting into it. Part of me wanted Fleury to start so he could redeem himself after his flub from last game. However, on the other side of that, he also does really, really well after being rested behind Lehner. And throughout the first 50 minutes of this game, it was completely justified that goaltending was obviously not the issue. However, I supported the decision. I was confused, but like, I don't know, it was good. Fleury definitely needed a break. Maybe he asked for it. Who knows? We will not know. And the other thing is Robin Lehner definitely needed redemption after being the sacrificial lamb in game 1 against Colorado. Like, that was not him. You do realize that it was because none of the rest of the team showed up, much like the first 50 minutes of this game. The one other person that showed up in this game, other than Robin Lehner, I would probably say would be Petro. He made a lot of defensive moves that were great that helped Robin Lehner. Sorry, I haven't even done the beginning part yet. Robin Lehner wins against the Montreal Canadiens 2-1 in overtime, and I would like to say that it's the Golden Knights, but it really wasn't until 1 minute and 18 seconds in overtime. And the one goal he allowed in the second period was a breakaway chance from Byron, who can score from his knees on the breakaway apparently. Montreal played a really good game against us. They were on top of it defensively, only allowing 4 shots in the first period, which was an exact opposite of game 3, and the exact same thing as game 2. Weird. Halfway through the game, we had 8 shots on goal. 3 of them were by forwards and 5 of them were by defensemen, because the other thing that was very obvious from the beginning of this game is that the refs were calling absolutely nothing at all. The entire point of them was aesthetics. 0 penalties in the first period, and then about 15 minutes into the second period, they called Nosek and Weber for going at it for 20 seconds before they blew a whistle to stop the play, because of course, so they each get 2 minutes for roughing, and Nosek, that's not a fight that I think you should be picking in the first place, because Weber is definitely outweight class stuff with you. Although I would gladly take off a trade where it's Nosek and Weber off for Vegas' standards, because Weber is a really good defenseman. Although Nosek is the only one that seemed to be able to drive Stone in patches so far this season. And then, with like 2 seconds left in this 4-on-4, they call Nick Suzuki for a hook, and that was the funniest thing, because apparently on both sides of the ice, on both teams, you can board someone and push them in square in the numbers into the boards where their face hits the top part of the boards. That happened by both teams. You can do that, but you can't slash the guy's hand with your stick. You can't grab his hand with your stick, because that makes sense. So of course, Vegas does absolutely nothing with their power play, because naturally, I feel like Dewey in that one Malcolm in the Middle episode where it's like, I have no expectations and I'm still let down. Then they call Alec Martinez for interference, which definitely was interference, and definitely was a hooking call on Nick Suzuki. However, the things that they got away with before calling this means I have no idea what I can do. The referees did not have a handle on this game, and there was a bunch of rough stuff going on at the end of the period with like 10 seconds left. They didn't blow a whistle at all to stop play, and Chris Lee was literally staring at it the whole time. I do think that Vegas was getting away with more of the penalties in this game, like game 3. However, they were literally both sides getting away with everything. The first boarding call was from Edmondson on Carrier, and then the second one was, I think, Nosek on Weber. I felt like if I was on the ice roughing this game, I would call it more fairly than Chris Lee, because oh my goodness, that was awful. And then they call no penalties in the third or overtime because it's the playoffs, right? So the rule book is like just a sheet of paper, which means if you don't kill someone, then you're scot-free, right? Slapping someone's stick and oh no, he dropped it, penalty. Yeah, wow, that's a penalty in overtime in the playoffs. But slamming your stick right into the guy's nose, requiring him to get stitches all along the side, bleeding profusely, where the ref sees that he's bleeding and is like, yep, nope, you're good. We're gonna review this too. And within the last 10 minutes of the game, you can apparently review anything and call penalties, because that's a new rule that I just heard about all of a sudden. But you can do that, and they did. They looked at it and they're like, yeah, no, this is good. Marchessault just, yeah, nope, that's good. You do, like, I'm a Vegas fan and I don't think that that's acceptable. I want games to be played the way that the game is supposed to be played, and when the rule book completely changes for the postseason, that's not the same game. You can't tell me that this is the same game as the regular season. It's like going from football to rugby. Anyway, sick pass from Nick Suzuki to Byron on the right after the power play was over. That gave them the breakaway opportunity, and he buries it past Lehner. And then the penalty against Martinez, so they're gonna have like basically a full power play, like minus 20 seconds. But you really think that 20 seconds is gonna matter? Maybe, I don't know. To start the third period with the power play, and Vegas fortunately kills it off, but like little bit by little bit throughout the entire third period, well, no, not really, it was throughout the entire game, but the third period specifically, I started losing hope that we were gonna win this game because our offense was nowhere to be found. Our top six not doing anything. The most productive offensive zone time line, it looked like to me, based off the eye test, was the third line of Waugh, Janmark, and Kolazar, because Waugh's stick handling solely kept possession in the offensive zone. It just seems like all of them take their time to try to get the perfect shot on Price, which, don't get me wrong, that's great that you want to get the perfect shot on Price because he's a really good goalie and he's stopped a lot of cross-crease stuff, and so the only way that you can really try to score on him is to pickpocket him. But at the same time, if you're not getting any shots off, then there's no point to doing that, because as soon as you get the puck, Montreal is coming at your stick with theirs to be able to try to knock you off, so you can't get a shot off. So literally just take quicker shots, guys. It can't be that hard for anyone making over $2.5 million to take a quick shot.
Please. Please.
What's my hat?
Sure. That was the same thing.
The third period, Sherratt for Montreal tries to help us and show Vegas Golden Knights what it's like to take a shot on Price. He deflects one off of his skate or stick, and Price had to make the save, and that was good. That was a good example. Thank you, Ben Sherratt, for trying to show our forwards how to shoot. And it's at this point where I was like, man, Robin Lehner came in with an impossible task to try to win this game past a fan base that completely turned on him because the coaches decided to go with him instead of Fleury after Fleury made that flub. Not saying completely, because I know that there are some VGK fans that were still supportive of this. Actually, quite a few of the ones that I follow, at least. He was by far the best Vegas player on the ice when it was 1-0, and the entire rest of the game too, but like, and no offense against him, I was kind of hoping it would be one of our forwards that had that award, but and then I tweet that I know that I've been tweeting about our forwards all night, but I'd be happy with a goal from really anyone wearing a Vegas jersey right now. And 2 minutes later, William Karlsson with the puck behind the net, Montreal's net, and he's skating back and forth, avoids a defender, sends it to the slot, and Braden McNabb is playing up, and he pounds this thing past Price to make it a tie game, 1-1. I may have screamed while my family was watching a movie during this time, because that's fun, and I immediately tried to cover my mouth, and that was embarrassing. Especially because it sounded more like yes, which, you know, that's just a weird sound to come out of a grown man's mouth. Did you hear that? Everyone thought it was a sneeze. So the person that ties this game after we have been struggling to get shots on net, let alone goals, is Braden frickin' McNabb, whose last playoff goal was in round 1 of our inaugural season against the Kings, which was his former team. Braden McNabb is now the 5th defenseman to score a goal in this series. Meanwhile, we only have 2 forwards that have scored a goal. And the thing is, too, is that Carey Price almost had this. Like, it was kind of in his glove, and then it just squeaked past in the net. My goodness, we got away with that one there. There was one opportunity that the top line had this at the end of the game with about a minute and a half left, but Pacioretty got absolutely nothing on this shot, and we need him to be able to We need... I had decided not to record any of my reactions for the most of this game because I was kind of having an off day, and so it's okay to take mental health days, yeah! But I wanted to record overtime because... Alright, overtime. The only reason we're here in the first place is because of Robin Lehner and I guess Braden McNabb. But a sick pass from Carlson to McNabb. The Golden Knights have 0 high danger chances the entire game so far, while Robin Lehner has stopped 18. 40 seconds in, puck went out of play. Montreal will have an offensive zone draw. Nope, center ice. Vegas wins the fifth draw. Wah. That's not going to be an icing. Montreal's won 8 of the last 10 playoff overtime games, while Vegas has 1 for 3. 1 win and 3 losses this year. Yeah! Nick Waugh! Won it! Yeah! Let's go! Tie series! Woo! Nick Waugh's family is there. That's his family. Because he's from Quebec.
How cute is that? Happy Father's Day.
We're in the offensive zone. Tuck plays it over to the far side. Pacioretty ends up getting the puck, skating around, turns around, tries to take a shot. Price saves it. However, the rebound is right there for Nick Waugh to grab. Nick Waugh grabs it, goes over to his forehand on the other side of the net, and Carey Price with a magnificent save, flailing all over the ice to try to grab this puck, and he does. However, is not able to hold the puck, and so the puck bounces off of Carey Price's pad. Nick Waugh grabs it and with the patience waits for Carey Price to completely fall, lifts this thing over Carey Price and wins it in overtime, 2-1. Nick Waugh still only the second forward to score for us because he's scored 2 goals now, and Matisse Janmark's the only other forward to score a goal in this entire series, and we're 4 games in. Absolutely stood on his head for us. It was beautiful though, because after Nick Waugh scored this goal, it panned to his family, who is actually in the stands for this. They got to see him score a game-winning goal in overtime in his home province. That was just beautiful to see, because we have a lot of French Canadians on this team. We have Fleury, Marchessault, Waugh. I think there's more. Oh yeah, and happy Father's Day. This game was on Father's Day. I didn't say that yet, but I hope Montreal and Vegas all wished Robin Lehner a happy Father's Day, because he is now all of their dads. After the game, Robin Lehner in his post-game press conference, just being a king. Robin Lehner says he gets to the rink in about 4 hours before each game, which is an extra 2 hours. I got here 2 hours early so I could watch you guys talk poop on Twitter to motivate me. We have 2 Vezina quality goalies, and they're both freaking elite, and y'all need to just appreciate what we have on our team, because Fleury and Robin Lehner are both huge reasons of why we're where we're at right now. And now, reading time with Logan. Wow. And then what happened? Robin Lehner, huge salute to you, dude. You are the bomb. No, he's Panda. He's a panda. Vegas has tied the series 2-2, heading back to Vegas for game 5. It's now a best of 3, and Vegas has the home ice advantage for this one. Anyways, that's gonna be it for round 3, game 4's nightly review. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good night.